Hello and welcome. This lecture will be talking about the evaluation of the internet and websites. We're going to start off with Wikipedia. I know that's a common tool that's used out there. And I just want to talk about the definition of Wikipedia. Wikipedia defines itself as a project. Any individual can update, delete, add, or address different information. Just so you know, actually, apparently on April Fool's Day, a common place for Wikipedia is to go in there and start playing around with Wikipedia. So maybe viewing on April 2nd is not a good idea to use Wikipedia as a resource. It does contain interesting and helpful information. I think it's a great way to gather search terms or definitions for topics. The question is should it be used as a scholarly source? And your answer is, I would say no. I think oftentimes, actually, it is in one of the readings today, is Wikipedia is in one of the readings. But I think, again, it has maybe helpful resources. It might even have helpful citations and references, but using it solely as a scholarly source, it is not. So thinking about other scholarly sources, and we'll be talking about that in your future lectures. A listserv. Many of you are on a listserv from UMBC or Shady Grove, and the social work department has a listserv, and you probably get kind of mass emails. It's a great way to send out specific emails to students and provide them information about perhaps advising or the field application or whatnot. So it's really important that you get on one of the listservs. If you're a Shady Grove student, you can contact me, and if you're a main campus student, make sure you follow the directions that are located in the readings. Blogs are typically written by an individual and list commentaries, activities, and plans, information. It's definitely a way of sharing information. And then there's also called these, I don't know if they call them MABS, but multi-author blogs. And they're written by maybe a large number of authors and often edited. We know that kind of printed newspaper is kind of going out. And so I think a lot more newspapers, universities, think tanks are kind of creating these blogs, and that's, since we're obtaining most of our information online, it's important that you're aware kind of that and what these blogs look like. I guess this starts me leading into the conversation, which we're going to have next, is that, as you know, I feel like I need to kind of say this, anybody can post anything on the internet. And it's important for us to be evaluators of that information and critically assess what we are reading. So whether it be a blog or something on Wikipedia or something on a scholarly site or what we would consider a scholarly site, it's really important for us to assess that information and critically think about that. And so that's what I'm going to talk about next. Is that many of us jump on the internet. You might jump on through an internet browser, one of these, Internet Explorer or Firefox or Chrome or Safari, and you want to become familiar with kind of those browsers and what they have to offer. Those browsers often have a search tool or some sort of search engine, and as you may know, there's many search engines out there. They seem to be changing kind of each day with who has become the most popular. Since Google has become a verb in the dictionary, Google is one of the larger search engines. But I want you to be aware about how search engines work. And what you might want to do is actually run a search, pick a term to search both in maybe Bing or and Google, and compare the results. So they basically, the way the search engines work is they have like algorithms. They have kind of features that are programs that decide how the result list will appear. They review how many times the search words appear on the web page, and then they kind of see if there's any links to these web pages, and they pull together this list. And so when you come to the list, the result list, you pretty much, I don't know about most of you, but you probably look at the top maybe 3 results. And companies that register with search engines can become more popular in the result list, is something that you should be aware of. Removal of specific search results in order to comply with local laws does happen, and China is an example of that. And there is also something called filter bubbles, which search engines are learning what you are looking for and are providing you with that information. And I read something interesting. It was actually on the reading too, which was in Wikipedia. But I've seen this kind of happen too with, if you run a search for, say, BP, and you are a person who typically runs searches in terms of financial markets and looking up, stocks and bonds and whatnot, then maybe you're going to get BP's website in terms of their organization. Versus if you're an environmentalist and you run a search on BP, are you going to get pulled up with the oil spill that happened? So I think this is something that's important for you to realize that, again, companies can register and pay to kind of be up top. Again, there kind of discussion about how that works. There's certain results that can be removed depending on kind of where you live. Obviously, our country is not one of them, but that's something to be aware of. And that there are, these search engines are becoming kind of more aware of who we are and what we're searching for, and are kind of giving us what we want. So what would that kind of do? I mean, if we are kind of have a way of seeing the world through a certain lens, if we're only provided with links of information from that perspective, whether it be a liberal or conservative perspective, then if we think when we run a search on something, only that information is coming up, it kind of continues to limit our lens that way and keep us within our little scope or our little bubble, so to speak. So again, something for you to be aware of, and that's why I suggest you might want to run a search in a couple different search engines and see what happens. You might also want to take the note and kind of scroll through the top. Once you run a search, running through kind of the top 10 or so, even maybe going to the next page and seeing what kind of pops up, taking note in advertisements, and thinking about, did the result list provide you with what you're looking for? Oftentimes when I do get to a website, the first thing I do is look at kind of the domain. Is it a .org? Is it a .com? Is it a .edu? Just because it is a .edu or .gov or .org doesn't mean it is kind of scholarly, but it's something to just kind of keep in mind. Who is kind of the publisher? What is the supporter of this organization or of this website? We have to realize that really websites are out there to sell something to you, to educate you or inform you about something, persuade, explain, share, disclose. And so knowing that there is a purpose to that website and thinking about what that purpose is, and if you're okay with it, then we're okay with it, but just being aware that really websites have become marketing tools. And after all, if we look at where websites, I wish I had kind of saved some screenshots of websites from back in the day. 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, if we looked at websites, they look a lot different than they look like now. And so I think organizations now actually have people who really create and monitor and update their websites in order to look kind of more official and more and look better. So kind of scanning again the website address, and then scan the entire website. Check out the different areas, the About Us or their philosophy or their mission. See about the contact page. I often like to see the Contact Us. Are you able to contact this organization? Is there a phone number? Is there an address? Is there only a way to contact them via email or through their website? That says something about kind of the organization, maybe that way. Not in a bad way, but it does gives you a message about, kind of this organization as an establishment. Does it have a kind of a brick and mortar kind of place, or is it all online? The date it was created and maybe last updated, that's usually at the bottom of the website. When you link on or click on the links that are related, the related links or the links that are on the site, does everything seem to kind of be working and linked to where you wanted to go? Or some of the links broken? Because that'll often tell you if the website's been updated lately. And then certainly advertisements. That I always think is kind of telling. Is there a lot of advertisements on the web page, and what does that look like? Now you're kind of getting to the meat of the evaluation. So you've kind of scanned the website, and now you want to spend a little bit more time really evaluating the website. So thinking about like the accuracy of the website. Is it reliable? The authority, are there authors listed? Is it the organization that's listed as the author? Thinking about the purpose or the mission of the website and the organization, is that kind of noted? Is this an objective information? And if it isn't, if it is biased, you know, is that okay with you? Is that what you were kind of looking for? Again, the currency of it, and if there's any contact information. When you think about kind of the reliability and validity, you know, is this a website where you've kind of are gaining information that compares with other resources out there, or is this kind of a finding that's new and nobody's ever reported on before? So thinking about kind of the reliability of it, is it consistent that way, and certainly is it seem valid or accurate? So these are some things that I'm asking you guys to kind of think about as you're going through your website. I've asked you to post something in the discussion board about an agency that you hope to work at. Tell us a little bit about the agency, and then evaluate the website. Critically evaluate the website, and you can use this as a guide. It's also posted in your readings in terms of using that as a guide. But I guess what I'm trying to get you to start thinking about is being critical consumers of information. Not everything on the web is the truth. So thinking about that and what that means for you. That's going to be helpful to you as a social worker, and it's going to be helpful to you and your future clients, because oftentimes, you know, if you're finding information and providing that to clients and you got it off the website and it wasn't kind of the most accurate information, then you're passing that along to your clients that way, and that isn't kind of helpful or ethical either. So that concludes this lecture. Thanks so much and have a good day.